So everything and absolutely nothing happened in this episode, technically.
Yep.
The TVA is both fucked and not fucked.
This is pretty much what I expected from a Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead episode.
I just like how all this got to this is what I want to say. This is the only filler episode that Loki's had. Because honestly, outside of Loki's revelation, or I should say, getting called out by Sylvie, nothing actually happens in this episode. It is weird to think of it that way, but it is an important episode. Don't get me wrong, but it's the first one where I was actually looking at it going, you had a really good idea that you wanted to fill in that wasn't technically plot, but you got about 30 seconds of plot out of it. And it was only the 30 seconds that you needed that Loki knows how to slip through time. So it's going to be weird that if you only had him figure that out, to then just use it to go back in the episode one time and then never use that ability ever again.
I feel like this is going to it's going to come into play, if not in the season finale, then somewhere else in the MCU, because once he actually, figures out how to control his time slipping, that could become a pretty powerful ability.
Could be. He has. He went to the literal minute dot second location action that he wanted. He has it mastered. There's no will be or when. He has.
That's true. He did it.
So there's gotta be either Loki's not making it out of season 2, or they make it so that he can never do that again. Because there can no longer be problems in Loki's life if this ability continues. He's the god of mischief with magical Norse-based powers and pinpoint time travel abilities.
So maybe he can only do it. Maybe he can only do it once, but I don't know. They need to find some ways to restrict his usage.
They can. I got a partial feeling that it's going to take him 3 to 4 tries in the next episode to actually get it correct. And on the last one, Loki doesn't make it out. And that's how it needs to go somehow, to where he keeps trying to fix it where everyone lives and he gets to have his friends, when realistically, he's going to end up sacrificing himself so his friends can live. Because that talk they have in the bar spelt that out for me, that's how it's going to go. Because Loki is doing this for himself so he has his friends. Because they're all happy without him in the current moment. He was okay with just letting all that go.
It's kind of the opposite of It's a Wonderful Life, where everyone is living their own lives, but Loki, our George, is the miserable one. I mean, that's the constant, but
that is the constant. But yeah, that spelt for me hardcore that we're not getting a Loki season 3, let alone anything else from Loki. I don't know why, but that stung hard of Loki's dying in the next episode, because a lot of times, other than the end of Secret Invasion, a lot of superhero tales or tales of this kind, the person who needs to solve everything gets given an unbelievably extraordinary ability right before they get offed, so they can never use it again. But we shall see.
And in case it feels out of character for Loki to make some sort of sacrifice for the greater good, at the start of Infinity War, Loki bit it.
Yes, and he literally screams that he wants to be loved at his parents. In the first or second Thor movie. I don't remember which one it was. It was either his dad or his mom, about wanting to be loved. But and it's we've gone through it many a times, especially in Loki, that he doesn't want to be the loner jackass. He was trying to get attention. He's doing all of this for attention.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got it in a good evil doing way. And he realizes that it feels a lot better now. And there's going to be it just feels like there's going to come some heroic moment where he's like, Thor's not the only one who can save the day type of deal. And remember how they had all the totems? Everyone was remembered, but Balder was there instead of Loki.
Yep.
A lot of that's ringing in my brain, that now all the Boulder stuff is going to get replaced with Loki after he sacrifices himself.
Probably. Like, you know, these Marvel shows haven't always stuck the landing with their finales, but Loki is the only one that at least in my opinion did. And these things that they plant like during the season aren't exactly accidents. I'm pretty sure they know exactly what they want the story to be.
And again, a lot of it is because even after, if Loki sacrifices himself, all of this can be self-contained and not affect a single thing otherwise, because all the outside world is going to know is that reality didn't shit itself and life went on normally. Because he'd likely be sacrificing himself to save timelines that no one's going to know got fucked up in the first place.
Yep.
So they were able to write it however they wanted, because whatever they did not matter. It is one of the beautiful things you can do with time travel movies, time travel properties. You can do a lot of stupid things as long as at the end, either you're back at point one, or it was done in a way that where normal reality didn't realize what was going on in the background. It's the best type of time travel stories.
I don't know how far you got in DC's Legend of Tomorrow, but eventually,
what was the season where they gender swapped? Her name's Isis in the comics, but they weren't going to do that.
Are you talking about Zari's brother?
Yeah, or was that her brother?
Yeah,
I thought she switched.
It's complicated, but
okay.
Point is, I think like the latter seasons, while not officially being not canon with the Arrowverse, were more allowed to do their own thing.
Yeah, but you also had the moments like this, like I'm talking about, where you had Heat Wave, and I want to say, was it Rip or was it Canary, going back and putting Snart back in the timeline after he had sacrificed himself in the second season, and like talking with him at that bar. I'm like, that's some cool shit you can do, because he has no idea what you're talking about and it's not going to affect him, but he did the cool shit already.
Yep.
Did I mention that somehow out of the Flash, this is nothing against Grant Gustin, somehow the best character that came out of the Flash was Leonard Snart. Sorry if that pisses some people off. It is.
No, it's true. Snart and Rory are the best.
And season 1, Eobard Thawne. Back before they decided to shit themselves and do speedsters for 3 seasons in a row. What were you thinking? Anyway. So, we got Casey escaping Alcatraz. B-15 running in a hospital in San Francisco. Mobius used to be a Sea-Doo salesman with 2 kids. And Ouroboros lived in Pasadena. Oh, and Mobius was in Cleveland. And then Ouroboros is in Pasadena as a book writer. In a building that looks shockingly like the shop he has in the TVA.
I wonder if it literally is just the same set, but
stripped down.
Yeah,
looking like it's a light coming in, because it looked scarily identical.
I think that's what I liked about it, because he's a science fiction writer, but he's also like his day job is being, I guess, a science professor.
Yeah,
he's the closest to his like TVA personality, so he's probably the best one to help Loki guide him to where he needs to be.
Yeah, and I also have to address something before I forgot it. I got rather tweaked in that last episode because they created a time paradox for literally no reason. And now I know that it wasn't a screw up and that they know how to do this properly because they did a better version of that in this episode that didn't create a time paradox.
Are you talking about at the start of the episode?
At the start, when he's time skipping, he doesn't save himself from anything. All he does is time skip in the future, go to a point where his self can turn and go, hi. Oh, for 2 seconds, it affects nothing. It saves himself from nowhere. He gives himself no advice. He doesn't make sure that that's the reason why the person advances. That's all it was. That's it. That is how you do moments like that. Not like the previous episode where you shit the bed with that concept. But also, in the background, I don't know if you noticed this, but the loom was weirdly working.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, wait, where did Loki end up?
But like in reverse, because how do I want to explain this? All this stuff was going. The loom didn't break. Just light shot out and kicked everyone out of there but Loki. Because failsafe mode activated. And then all the shit was still spilling into the loom, but from the, like, going in this way, but then from the opposite side of the loom, everything was tying itself back into a knot going into the loom the other way. Because it wasn't like it was expanding and getting tied as it went out. It was tying itself as it went, like the strands were tying themselves back in, going into the loom from the other side.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I was like, you technically are feeding time backwards into the loom, and then maybe is that why everything's unraveling? Because it looked exactly like everything turning into string. It was just going into the loom. Maybe it was like, what I want to say, imploding? Like it was sucking the timelines in.
And that's why the branches get all like spaghetti-like.
Spaghetti-like. It could be, because they looked identical. That was weird. So I was like, how did you all of a sudden fix it? Because everything's being tied. I'm like, no, it's literally getting put into a spaghetti strainer. Because that's exactly what it looks like. It's straining in and then... yeah. that might be one of my favorite lines in a Marvel movie ever in this episode. And it is from I can't even think. OB. With science, it is what and how, but with fiction, it's why.
Yep.
I really like that. That's an interesting quote to differentiate the two. And then at the end, he's like, oh, wait, it was a fiction problem. What? But yeah, that was cool. And like, again, where this is filler and we're really only going to talk about the ending. All he did was just see that they had lives and then have the talk with Sylvie, where we got the breakdown that he's literally only doing this in his heart partially, and he felt it because he was lonely. He has no one. He has no idea if Thor is alive.
That's true. He doesn't.
He doesn't know shit that is going on in the main timeline, other than the fact that they have McDonald's. Like, he doesn't know jack. He got kicked in the nuts by Sif. That's about the closest thing he's gotten to seeing any one of his actual family or friends outside of the TVA since he got into the TVA. So,
yeah. In that regard, it makes total sense that he's doing what he's doing, but B, filler has become kind of a dirty word in media criticism, but
because people don't know what it means anymore.
No,
if it's an episode they don't like, they just call it filler. They barely ever use it for when it's actually being called filler. The only time it's actually kind of turns into legit filler, the best way to describe it is an anime. When they're just writing bullshit to wait for the manga. There's a whole arc in Bleach where they make a movie! That's filler!
And don't they do it like in the middle of a fight too?
I don't remember. I haven't seen Bleach, but I've gotten my roommate and his brother, their favorite anime of all time by a wide margin is Bleach. So they were like, you can watch it. And I'm like, no, it ruins it because the new season's coming along and it's ruining the perfect number because it used to have 365 episodes and now they're going to ruin it because you could have watched one a day for a year and had it perfect. I always give them that crap. And they're like, well, you don't have to do this. You could technically skip filler season blank and blank. And I'm like, the term filler season shouldn't fucking exist. But yeah, it's where they're like explaining to me what it is. And then they explain to me about there's a whole arc where they make a movie, but they're like, it's actually really awesome. But I'm like, you'll acknowledge it's filler though. They're like, oh, absolutely. Like this is the first one where it felt like filler. In all the other episodes, the whole time he is getting stuff together. And in this one, essentially outside of the talk in the bar, and then him realizing that he actually wants to save people and that everything's going to fall apart, which he knew already. Realistically, we get 2 minutes of character development in this episode. Because he could have figured, he knew already that they had lives on the timeline. We just got to see what they were. Do you know what this is?
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 25 of Gurren Lagann.
Yes, it is.
This is exactly what this is. It's just Sylvie was Kamina with the freaking core drill going, no, go fix it. They're showing you things and the world's going to fall apart. And then they're zipped back and ready to fight the anti-spiral, except it's figure out what the hell's wrong with the loom of fate, loom of time.
I think with
26,
that,
sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with that epiphany in mind, I think that's why I love this episode. Because yes, even though technically nothing really happens until the last 5 minutes. It's still the journey of getting there that was still satisfying in the way that Loki has known how to do since the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It. Oh, man. And not that is not me under any set of circumstances calling this episode bad, by the way. It might be the best. It's probably the best episode of the season. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely is.
That little bit in the bar is some of the best acting I've seen Tom Hiddleston do ever. And they're just having a conversation.
And again,
that's all it is.
And again, some of the best moments in the first season are Loki and Mobius just having a conversation.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy how good you can make things when characters just sit and talk. It's crazy. But yeah, we were a little late on this one. We'll be perfectly on time for the next one because I might not even have to work this Friday. We're a little bit slower down because I work in a window factory and the economy's not exactly doing the greatest. So not a lot of people are buying because prices are high. But yeah, so we'll be on time for the finale.
And then we also have the Marvels.
That's right. That's the same day. Damn. You know what? I'm willing to make a bet now that you and me are going to get more views on the review of the last episode of Loki than we are. That is nothing against that movie. I'm prepared for that movie to be great. Fuck what everyone else says with this Brie Larson hate nonsense. But I'm just preparing myself. That's probably going to happen. Everyone that watched that last episode, by the way, holy shit.
Has it gotten to like the thousands yet?
It significantly tankered off after it got up to 600. 632.
All right.
That was insane. The spike goes from 6 to 95 to 160 to 632. I have a feeling this one's not going to do as great because we're super late. I went to Comic-Con this weekend. People, sorry that I'm late, but I finally got to meet Yuri Lowenthal this weekend. So sorry this episode review was going to wait. But
it's all worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be on time for that. And we'll have the Marvels ready as well. Might have the Marvels up before this because stalling for time is stalling as I look to see when the movie is playing. Showtime's what in the actual? Is the theater not open on Thursday? Shut up. Maybe they don't have the Thursday times available yet.
I would check tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay. Earliest I got there is 4:30. 4:30 and 7 on Friday. But we'll see. That'd be really weird for them to not be open on a Thursday. But anyway. Yeah, we'll be ready to go for that. And I've really got nothing else other than that. So, Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, Podchaser, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
And you can find me everywhere at Organoid0, mainly on Twitch, YouTube, and also on the social media platform known as Twitter. I'll be back to streaming again. I was gone for quite a while, and then I was packing and catching up on some stuff. So, yeah, I'll be back to streaming. Come talk to me about Attack on Titan, because now that it's done, I'm going to binge the living shit out of that this week, so I'll have something to talk about. I'm literally going to start watching it as soon as this is done. So, all right. Until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.